Incompetence Pod.
Welcome to the Perpetual Incompetence Podcast, a journey in competitive self-improvement.
Take a look as the three of us endeavor to improve our lives by competing in a series of low-stakes challenges.
Don't actually look, though, because this is a podcast. You can't see anything. But in each episode, we'll come up with a challenge and then define the rules or metrics for victory.
We'll have 2 weeks to do our best, and at the end, one of us will be crowned victor. Hi, I'm true believer, poetic soul, and biggest loser, Mike Collins.
Hello, I'm Master Yogi, Master of Wind, the Songsmith, the busiest beaver, Yumpin' Yodeler Dan Collins, the tanky planker.
And I'm Mr. Sunshine, Future Corpse, and Synergistic Mystic, Travis Greenicus Brabin, the Silver Tongue. We each have one idea for a challenge for us to attempt the next 2 weeks. After we've all presented, we'll decide whose idea is the best. Who wants to go first?
I will go first. Yeah. So, if you guys will recall, when we did the Master of Wind episode ages ago, there's a man, Wim Hof, who came up a bunch in. He's sort of a a guru of sorts when it comes to endurance, and he's a guy who ran up Mount Everest in nothing but a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
Yep. So one of his big jams that he does is cold immersion. And this is supposed to have all sorts of health benefits, as well as psychological benefits. It's supposed to, I did not look up anything, but I've heard them before. It's like a bunch of the health benefits, it puts your body in a state of stress, but it's like controlled. And for some reason, that's supposed to be real good for you. And
It triggers an adrenaline response, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
your body's like, oh no, we need to like fight or flight. Things are bad. You're tricking your body into thinking that you might die.
Yes, that's exactly it. So we should. So my submission is that we do cold immersion on ourselves. So that is to say, we will see who can spend the most time in cold. That is, you could do like a cold shower, ice bath. Some people literally will take an ice freezer and just go sit in it, like a chest freezer. Just go hang out in there for a while. And then, and then see what kind of benefits we get from that. And then we can just make it a measure of like the longest time spent in the cold immersion. And then I have a good honorific for this one. The Iceman.
I think Wim Hof already has that title.
Yeah, so we would be another Iceman.
Iceman Jr.
Yeah.
This would be a lot easier to do if you just kind of wait a couple months.
Yeah.
It's going to be really cold outside. Right now it's like super hot.
Well, I guarantee you, because I've done this before, if you take a cold shower, that's going to be enough for you, Dan.
Yeah, this is miserable. I've tried a cold shower before, and it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks real bad.
I hate you, Mike.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
You can't see my face, but it has a look of disgust on it right now. I don't.
So apparently, when you do this, there's supposed to be like this point, like it's just awful, it's miserable, it's terrible, and then you reach a point where it just all goes zen. It might be when your brain stops working correctly,
or like you go numb from the cold.
Yeah. But like what's it called? Frostbite, where you actually get damage the tissue. That's from long-term cold exposure. Like you don't get that unless you're like completely frozen through for a long time. So there's no like risk of or like dangers with it. So it's I think I want to try this anyway, but it'd be funny to make you guys do it with me.
Thanks for that, Mike.
Yeah. So that's my submission.
Okay. Oh, that sounds terrible. I will go next. Mine is not immersing yourself in cold and being miserable. Mine is more aimed towards lifelong enjoyment and making your brain stronger. I think for the next 2 weeks we should. I don't know what our baseline is right now. I don't know where you guys are at on this particular game, but I think for the next 2 weeks we should try to get better at chess.
Oh,
Chess is like, I think golf is called the greatest game, but chess is like one of those, strategic. It's a classic game. It's there's a term people throw around to discuss with chess. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's supposed to be like, you know, I'm
good
doing
for
real
your
bad.
good brain.
Yeah, my
Your brain
my
is
brain
good.
is showing that it desperately needs to play chess. Um, I'm doing a real bad job of explaining it, but uh, oh my gosh, did my brain die?
Are you okay?
Need a
No,
nap,
I'm good.
Travis.
I maybe I do need a nap. All right, taken again. Uh, chess is supposed to be really good to cognitive development, help you think across a couple different turns, planning in advance, reacting strategy, all that sort of stuff. Also, you can get better at it now so that you can just smoke your friends once we all get to the old folks' home or playing in the park or whatever. It's just a thing that it's sort of like, well, we've been talking about possibly playing Magic, or there are these games that you can play basically forever. There's like infinite replayability, but you can perpetually get better at or have like more enjoyment of. And I think chess is supposed to be one of those games. So I'm not currently. I think I played a couple of games of chess when I was in high school, but I've not played since. So I basically know, other than the rules, I know nothing about chess. So I think at the
Really?
end of 2 weeks, we could just do it straight. Who wins? Do a little mini tournament.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
oh,
That
that's okay.
that would take her. I mean, that would probably be a really boring podcast, but I guess we could
Well,
do
we
it.
wouldn't do it on the podcast. We would, like the
Knight
Bieber
to
quiz, we would take it off.
E4.
Yeah.
um,
Interesting strategy. Let's see where he goes with this.
Well, I think during this 2 weeks, we could, practice playing against other people or whatever, but also like learn the strategies, the gambits, as they say, or the openers. I know some tangential stuff, but I don't actually know any of the strategies, so I think it'd be fun.
I've played a lot of chess, and I am still very bad at it. I remember
I
I played chess against this dude at the Renaissance Fair. Um, Me and our friend Kelvin. We thought, we're like, oh yeah, we play some chess. We know how to play chess. We played against this guy, and he was playing against, I think, 10 other people, and he beat us in like 5 moves. So we were just
I remember
decimated.
this one time when I was in Iraq, I was playing against one of my sergeants, and I hated this guy. He was just a total jerk, and I was like, I'll get the one up on him because I'm smarter than this guy, you know. He's an idiot. So I sat down to play some chess with him, and he beat me, and I think 3 moves, something like that. And I was like, what is this? Let's play again. And he literally beat me in the exact same way. the Within like 1 minute. So like it was the exact same move. Like I set him up, and he did the same thing to me. So that's my chess experience.
Yeah, see, wouldn't it be good to have some sort of defense against that? And like, wouldn't it be cool in the real world if there was some, jerky guy out in town? Like, I don't know, if that situation ever came up, wouldn't you like to at least put up a fight or, heaven
Oh, it
forbid,
would have been.
actually beat him and teach him a lesson?
Oh, it would have been great. Would
I
have been
will
the best
I
thing
will
ever.
say, playing chess against the bully to get back at them is probably not an occurrence that pops up very often.
That doesn't happen every day.
Depends on what kind
Yeah.
of crowds you run in, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yes. The chess gang,
Yeah.
Yeah.
lower downtown. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many chess players go around, throwing their weight around.
Yeah.
It's all the
Just
it's all
late.
the it's all the chess nerds, you know. Just the
It's not
chess.
not a lot of conflict happening with chessboards in an alley.
Well, they
Just
got picked on too much for being in chess club in high school, and they'd been working out and got mad, and now they're out on the streets.
roving chess gangs.
Can crush a knight with his bare hands. Yeah.
All right, so that's
Uh,
mine.
okay.
What do you got, Dan?
Well, so I was kind of because I know you guys didn't enjoy it very much, but I was kind of enjoying the physical challenge one. So I have another one. Um, do you guys have Fitbits?
I
Have you
do.
ever counted your
I do not.
steps?
I haven't because I have a Fitbit for that.
Well, I mean that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say is let's get our steps on. Steps. Get the most steps.
Do steps.
Do
Like
steps.
steps.
Walk around.
Walk around with your feet.
Straight
Okay.
and simple. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
I don't actually have I'd have to go buy a Fitbit, but I imagine they're not very expensive.
They're not too bad.
You can
Or you
also
can just get a
get
straight step counter.
yeah, pedometer. They're not expensive. Yeah, I mean steps. That's good. So we did. Yeah.
I do. I don't know. My thing with the planking one was there wasn't just a lot to really chew on. Like it wasn't tremendously engaging brain wise.
Well, you can talk about the walks you went on. Interesting places that you walked around or ran, if you want to spice it up or,
Oh, there's
you
that.
know, you could add in like a adventurous aspect to it.
There's an app, a phone game you can download that's meant to be like you turn it on and you listen to it while running, and it's like an audio drama game where you get chased by zombies while running. And if you slow down, then like a zombie horde will like attack you and like, oh, you better speed up or you're gonna get eaten. So that's a thing you can do.
But that's for like running though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be
So
steps, I guess.
That's still steps. You're still stepping when
So
you
it
run.
would still be steps. Yes, you're correct. All right. So let's pick one. I think I like mine the best. I think it's gonna be just awful, and I think it'll be good meat to chew on.
let's iron out a little bit. So what would be the success criteria? We would in one single sitting spend the most time in a cold environment, or how do we win?
Oh well, I guess I hadn't thought about doing that. I was just gonna say like cumulatively, like have the most time in cold immersion. But I kind of like that, like do an ice bath and who can hang the longest.
Oh. Well, is it
Yeah.
like do you build up a tolerance? Is that a thing that
You do, yeah. It is. You kind of build up a tolerance. I think it's not so much a tolerance as you. Well, I guess it's exactly a tolerance. Yes, that's the one. But so like you start take a cold shower or start jump into a cold shower and see how that treats you. And then last as long as you can, and then warm it up if you need to, and then do your shower things. But yeah, I kind of like that actually. That I
ice
like.
bath? That sounds so
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, it does. So, but I think instead of doing cumulative, I would like to do an ice bath, and we'll just see who can hang the longest. We could even do that together. We could get together and do it.
To do an ice bath together.
Yeah, if we want to. Be funny. We could record it.
I don't know if we have a tub that big.
Well, if we could do like
They'll just
side to
hang out.
side.
I get like a kiddie pool. I'll just go get in the kiddie pool at the same time, and then whoever can sit in the kiddie pool the longest.
I believe that's how Wim Hof does it in his when he goes around and teaches classes. Like they basically have a kiddie pool and they fill it up with ice water.
Oh boy! I mean, I guess if it was like a really hot day, it might actually be kind of nice.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be. I think you think it would be, but as soon as you got in there, it would not be nice.
I mean, I like to drink the ice water. I don't know if I'd like to be the ice water.
To make soup out of it.
So I don't know. I really like this idea, and then having said doing the ice bath and then doing it together, I think could be pretty great. It'd be funny.
I
We get the families together and it's make a day out of it. We
I
gotta
I
have a
vote.
barbecue.
All the kids will just be laughing at us.
Yeah,
They'll probably try and jump in and then jump
Yeah.
right out again.
yeah. Immediately regret it.
Yeah.
I would vote against yours, and here's my reason. I think we should do this, and we will do this, but we should do it in winter. And instead of an ice bath, we can just meet up and like strip down and just like jump into a snowbank or something like that. We just go outside and do it that way, maybe. Or it's easier to immerse yourself in cold when it's cold outside. Whereas like doing a whole production where you have to like find a kiddie pool and put a bunch of ice and stuff in it. I think
I
let's just
don't
do it when
I
we're in
mean,
Minnesota, man. Let's get
I
some
don't
use out of being in this state.
I don't think it's that like it won't be that big of a production really. It's a
to,
kiddie pool and some ice from the gas station, man.
if I'm
Or
gonna
the
be
I
ice.
honest, if I'm gonna be honest, the idea of making it a big production is actually makes it kind of. It sounds like it would be very funny.
yeah. Yeah,
uh,
I don't know, man. I think it sounds pretty great. We could record ourselves doing it and then put that on the podcast, and that would be pretty funny.
yeah,
I really
yeah.
like it. The more that we talk about it, the more I really like it. And I think we should do it
What do you?
now. So I mean, the part of this is I want to start doing this because I hear all about the benefits. And I'm like, yeah, I like benefits. And then but like since we live in Minnesota, since you're the one that brought this up, I would like to start embracing the winters because like when the winter rolls around here in Minnesota, I hermit up and I just whine for the whole 9 months of winter that we have
Yeah.
here, and
Mhm.
it's like I just hate it. I hate it so much, and but if like say I started taking barefoot walks in my underwear around the neighborhood, I feel like that might perk up my view on the state in which we live. So I don't know. So doing
The
it before winter would be the way to get ready for it.
there's always when it starts getting cold, it feels super super cold, and then when spring comes around and like the snow's starting to melt, it's that same temperature as when it felt really cold, but it's like it's beautiful and you're in shorts, so you
Yeah,
really do get used to the cold.
yeah. There's
Yeah,
You
definitely
build
an
up a tolerance.
acclimation. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh God.
I
Where
want
are
to
you
do
at,
it.
Dan?
I'm
Mike's
I
kind of
want.
slowly convincing me, but
I'm kind of leaning towards the ice bath.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like
Let's
I
do
feel
that
like
one.
we're gonna regret because that just means no hot showers and
Well,
uh,
you can take hot showers,
yeah,
but
but
you gotta take cold showers too.
or like I've heard a lot of people say you get in the shower with like warm water, or whatever, do your regular stuff, and then you cool it down before you get out.
I heard
Basically, you
that's
turn it
actually
to cold. Go ahead, Mike.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say that exactly. I've heard it's like really good for your skin. I don't know.
I have beautiful
I
skin.
know.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
right, let's do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
We're gonna feel so
yeah.
the regret is gonna set in immediately once I turn my shower
I'm
on
gonna do
tomorrow morning.
I'm gonna do it when we're done tonight. I'm gonna hop in because I need to take a shower yet. So that's gonna be my evening. It's gonna be sweet.
I think if I didn't, because I turned the air. I was just talking about this. I turned my air conditioning off when we record. It might be because I'm just sitting here in like a hot room that this sounds not that bad. But I feel like as soon as I start getting cold, I'm be like, oh no, I hate you, Mike.
I already hate you, Mike.
All right, the
uh,
honorific. Is it the Iceman?
I
No,
mean,
I think I
Iceman is pretty good,
It might be
but
copywritten.
it's not copywritten. There's a bunch of Icemen out there.
Mr.
Yeah,
Freeze.
the Yeti.
The Yeti.
the Yeti. That's pretty good.
Polar bear.
The Abominable Iceman? Like the Abominable Snowman, but different.
The abominable podcast man. Ice, the snowman. Just the snowman.
Snowman. Oh, that's cute. Santa.
We're a long ways from Christmas yet.
Icicle.
Mr. Chill.
Mr. Chill's not bad.
Podcast and Chill.
Frosty Papa.
Frosty the Snowman.
Jeez.
I kind of like that one. Frosty the Snowman. Or Santa.
I think we have to change it at least a little bit somehow.
Frosty the Showman. Because we have a show.
Aquanaut of... Nope.
Man, I don't remember the good one. Iceman is still pretty good. What was the other one that we had that was kind of good?
Santa
Chill?
Claus. Santa Claus.
Mr. Chill was okay. Something Frosty something or something Frost.
Popsicle Pants.
Popsicle. Podcast Popsicle.
No, doesn't quite work.
I like Popsicle. Human Popsicle.
Human Popsicle.
Human Popsicle is okay. I don't mind that. That's pretty good.
Human Popsicle. I kind of like that one.
I have popsicles in my freezer right now.
I do too.
I should go get a popsicle.
The Human Popsicle is good, I think.
I kind of like that one too. Human Popsicle. That's what. Yeah, that's my favorite one. What do you think, Dan?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Human Popsicle.
Human Popsicle.
Forecast. I don't like to be cold.
I don't
generally
either.
speaking.
I hate our state because of the winter. And it's too cold. It's too cold.
I lived in Hawaii. You guys already know this, but I lived in Hawaii for 4 years, and it ruined me for everywhere else on the planet. And now I live in Minnesota.
Well, I lived in Indonesia for a while, and it gets super, super hot there. So you kind of can appreciate the cold a little bit. But I think I'd prefer jungle heat over Minnesota winter.
See, I don't know. That's I'm kind of on the fence there.
That's a whole debate. We probably don't have time to pick through.
Yeah.
Extreme hot versus extreme cold, but yeah, I don't know. I think we're probably on an even footing all around.
I think so. All right. Okay, so we have our challenge, we have our honorific, we have our metric. Let's do this.
Yo, what up? It's your boy, Dan, coming at you hot. How you doing? Thanks for listening to the show. I've already listened to it. I know who wins. You're going to find out here in a little bit. It's pretty crazy. Hey, if you're liking the show, it would be pretty tight if you would tell a friend about it. That would be just super cool. Thanks for listening so much. You're the best. Back to the show.
Welcome back to the Perpetual Incompetence Podcast. As a reminder, we recorded the first part of the podcast 2 weeks ago, and since then, we've been experimenting with deliberate cold exposure. Let's discuss our initial thoughts first, and then we'll talk about how the final test went. I'm going to jump in and go first here again, because I owe you an apology, Mike. I was pretty down on this in the first half. I thought that it was going to be terrible, and I really didn't want to do it. And after a couple days of it was miserable and it does suck and it sucks every time you get into it.
Yeah.
But I have found that I actually kind of enjoy this.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of with you. We'll get into it, but yeah.
Yeah, this is why we do this podcast. It was forcing ourselves to do things that we otherwise never would. And up to this point, have been some challenges that were beneficial to me. But this one seems to be, honestly, a lifelong thing. I might keep this up forever because there are purportedly, actual scientific benefits, both, mental and physical. And I just kind of enjoy it. It's it has become a thing that, I think it gets me out of the shower sooner because you're not, just wasting all the warm water. I get myself clean, and then I, turn it to cold, and then, suffer for a few minutes, then get out. But I think like overall, like doing it that way, like I won't say I don't have a convenient way to do like frequent ice baths. That's just not a convenient thing because you need obviously ice and you use a lot of water or whatever. So I'll probably keep doing the shower approach. But part of the reason that I like doing this regularly, daily, or a couple times a week, is because it acts as a sort of kind of a discomfort reset or kind of a calibration thing. Because if you
Yeah.
can sit in a cold shower for, 5 minutes or something like that, everything else throughout the day is going to be pretty tolerable. Like it's about as uncomfortable as you can get, and everything it just kind of puts everything else into perspective. So that has been a big benefit for me. I don't know. So you were right. I was wrong. I'm willing to admit it. This
Well,
challenge is great. I really enjoyed it, and I never would have imagined that was the case in a million years. If anybody's interested, and hopefully through this episode we can convince you to try it, assuming talk to your doctor, make sure you're healthy enough to do it or whatever. But um, if you end up being curious about trying it out, the Dr. Andrew Huberman has a podcast episode where he talks about like basically it's a primer on all things cold exposure. I highly recommend you check that out because he like cites studies and he like says how to do it and how long to do it and all that stuff. So check that out because there are genuinely like scientific, physical and mental benefits. And as somebody who's a recent convert to the practice, I highly recommend it. That's me. What do you guys think?
yeah, I'll jump in here. So I agree with you, kind of on all points. Starting out, this sucked real bad. Um, so the first time I tried it, so I started out doing the just cold showers. Basically I got in there, I washed myself off like I usually do in my lovely warm water, and then I was just like, all right, here we go, cold. And then I basically spent the next like 30 seconds spinning in a circle in the water, going like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then,
Did
and
you ever have
then
the thing where like I would turn my shower too cold and I would like, oh, there's the initial shock or whatever. Oh, that's cold water. But then I would realize that like it can go colder still. So I would do
yes,
that
yeah,
and then like get like a double dose of it.
it's true.
The worst
Yeah,
part of it twice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was that pretty awful. So that's the main thing I did for basically the first week. Then the second week, I actually bought a 110-gallon like cow feeder trough.
Yep.
Yep. And then my wife was doing it with me too. So she's was into this. I think we and anyway, so that's how I was, convinced her that it was worth buying.
Sure.
and then,
It's an easier
and
sell
so
that way.
yeah, but actually, to be fair, it's like this humongous tub that's like made to hold water, so it's just kind of fun to splash around in. It's like a kiddie pool that's going to last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
anyway,
indestructible.
yeah. But anyway, so we started doing like cold plunges, and there is a difference between a cold shower and the full on, like,
Yes.
dump the ice cubes into the water and let it sit there until you put your hand in there and go, oh, this isn't going to be fun.
This is gonna hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, anyway, so we did that, and then we started doing the cold plunges, and I think the first one I did was like 2 minutes. And then we got to my last one I did before our actual competition was 10 minutes, which is a pretty long time. And your body goes through some weird things during this whole thing. So I listened to that same podcast that Travis did, so I felt like I knew what I was doing. I was basically a doctor at that point, so I just went full on into it. So a few things I noticed. So the first basically 2 minutes, I was noticing it got easier faster the more that I did it. But the
Mhm.
first 2 minutes are generally always just like panic. Your body is like, we need to get out of here. We
Yeah.
gotta get out of here right now.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
like, and so you just need to fight that survival instinct. and But once you get past that, you can kind of hit this like Zen place. It still will like hurt, it's painful, but you can kind of work past that, and that's pretty cool. And it's definitely scratching an itch that like just kind of a feeling alive. So I think like after the first like full on plunge that we did, like we had supper shortly afterwards, as like the food tasted better, you know, and like things smelled better. But anyway,
There's
no,
definitely
like
something to that though. Like
yeah,
we've talked about this before. Like food, like everything is better
the
after
sun
you
was
have worked
brighter.
hard, or yeah, food tastes better when you're really hungry, or the a drink of water when you're really thirsty is always better. So like,
Yeah.
stress or taking yourself out of your comfort zone does seem to improve everything else when you're back in your comfort
Yeah,
zone.
when you make your body feel like it's gonna die, then it's just like everything it's like being rebirthed.
Yeah, and
Uh,
so anyway, yeah, so I would say, and then afterwards, you just kind of it reminded me after like doing a full day of like hardcore farm work, like
mhm.
hay baling or something like that. And then the day at like the evening after that, when you're just like relaxing and your body is just like, we have done it today. It is complete. And you just kind of chill out and just feel good and feel like you accomplished something. You get that, but you get it in like 5 minutes of doing just a cold plunge, and it's
Yeah.
like it's such a like happy place to be in your mind. So I can totally see how this is like for people that suffer with like depression and anxiety. It could totally be a path to getting away from that. So
We-
And that's
oh yeah,
your
go ahead.
medical professional opinion.
Yeah.
Well, we should say that in that episode, Andrew Huberman talks about like studies where there are like people have genuinely gotten off drugs by doing cold water exposure. Like there's a scientifically measured dopamine release that happens like during and after you doing cold exposure. So like what we're describing is not anecdotal. It's like science,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
science.
I like
Science.
the first time I I just remember it was whatever night we had or the day after we had recorded, and I had actually kind of forgotten that this is what we were doing. And I had just like a really lazy day, and I think I just like watching a TV show or something, and then I realized I had to go to bed, but I hadn't taken a shower yet, so like, oh, I'll just take a shower quick and go to bed. And then I turned the shower on. I'm like, oh no, I have to do this. Um, but I remember that it was awful, and I showered very quickly, and it was cold, and I hated it. But about halfway through, like maybe a minute into the cold shower, I just started laughing to myself. I was like, "This is the stupidest thing," but like I was like, I
Yeah.
felt like I had such like an emotional upturn. And I was just like laughing, and then I got out of the shower, and I was just like, "Yeah!" I felt powerful. I had like so much energy, which is bad because I needed to go to sleep. But like I got
Yeah.
Yeah.
out, and I like started just like pacing back and forth, like, "Man, I want to get into a fight or something right now." Just I felt so alive.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely the biggest reaction I got, is sort of diminishing after doing it every day. But it was surprisingly, like after that first shower, I was like, I'm gonna really enjoy this. I don't think I really enjoyed it that much looking back on the 2 weeks, but it's definitely like I feel like if you're about to go do something that requires you to be, like, energetic or something, take a really cold shower beforehand, and, like, it's like a boost, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I'm going, yeah, just kind of finish mine off, I guess. I think I'm going to try to continue doing this, at least cold showers, but I was already looking up how to or where to buy like the chiller tanks that are like made for this. I was like,
Hmm.
they're very expensive, so I probably won't be getting one of those. But I saw some like guys online that bought like those box freezers and converted them into like popsicle tanks.
Yeah.
So, and, yeah, so I don't know. That might be a thing in my future. Oh, another
I,
thing I was kind of thinking about, like, so we live in Minnesota, all three of us, and it is just cold and awful here, just terrible, and it just it makes me so angry and bitter every winter that comes around. So I was kind of thinking, if I embrace this and just kind of like make this my thing, like, maybe in the winter I can start going like on morning walks shirtless around my neighborhood in the
Yeah.
winter, and just kind of just embrace it and be like, this is what I do now. And I bet that would probably like make the whole experience much more enjoyable. You
Maybe
know
you
what I
could
mean?
start a movement in your town.
Well, I was watching a bunch of like Wim Hof stuff, and that he's a crazy person.
This is
But
true.
like he was like swimming around some glaciers in just a swimsuit. Nah, anyway, just yeah. And anybody listening to this, go YouTube Wim Hof and just that'll be your whole
Yeah,
evening. It's
this isn't the
awesome.
first time we've even talked about him, I don't think.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Do you have any other thoughts you
Oh,
haven't
I
mentioned
mean,
already?
you guys did way more stuff than I did. I honestly was just doing the cold showers. I went and I bought a kiddie pool, with the plan of filling it with ice and water. I got around to doing that one time, but I only bought like 2 5-pound bags of ice, and they melted before the thing was full. So
Yeah.
I ended up
Yeah.
just having like a kiddie pool in my backyard. Then I just laid in it, and it was just sort of like a nice thing. So I pretty much just did the cold showers, which
Okay.
I don't know, based on the results, wasn't quite enough, I don't think.
Well, that's a good segue. Should we get into the results?
Yeah.
Yeah. First, let's describe kind of what we did. So Travis, we all went over to Travis's house. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. Anyway,
Yep.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to you people listening to this. But anyway, so Travis also bought one of these giant tubs. It's actually the exact same one. And what we did is we filled it up with water in the garage, and we all, before on our way over to his house, picked up a bunch of ice. So we had a ton of ice, and we had one of our friends come over to record our time secretly, so that we knew, the people that you would only know your own time going into it. And yeah, so then we just kind of took turns jumping in there in our swimsuits, and we got pictures to prove it. Look on our Twitter, look in the show notes. But yeah, so that's what we did. So Dan went first. Would you like to describe your experience in the winter?
Sure, yeah, so like I said, I had not done the actual ice plunge, and how cold is the water? It's like 46 or something like that?
Yeah, I think for each of us it was between 45 and 47 when we got in.
Yeah, and I had not experienced that, so that was sort of a new thing for me. And I had a audience of 3 men watching me. That initial shock when you get in there, and we had it, yeah, all hands and feet, and as far down as your shoulders can go is what we did.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, that was torturous for the entire time. It was really bad at first, and I was shivering and shaking the entire time. It was not like a cold shower at all. It it was
Yeah, it's
it
a little
was
different.
mostly painful, but I stayed in there longer than I did. Are we just telling our time? So I got 3 minutes and 47 seconds is how long I stayed in there. I thought that I was gonna get in there and then jump out immediately because that water was cold. It was so cold, and
I mean,
by
to
the
be fair, that's what your body wants you to do.
yeah, well,
Right.
I listened to my body this time, um, but like my hands and my forearms were like in pain, and then you get out and it takes a while to warm up. Uh, I don't know. That's all I have to say, really. I don't know if after that particular time I felt super great afterwards. I guess I didn't feel bad. No lasting
That's good.
effects. 3 minutes and 47 seconds, what I got.
Good job, Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
proud of you.
Yeah, so then I went next. So I knew Dan had not beat my personal best, so the way I prepared is actually use the Wim Hof breathing method, which is another thing that I was kind of practicing, and from other people I've heard that when you do that, it's a lot easier. Like the initial shock, like the awful part, the first like 2 minutes or so are it goes faster basically. And I will say like I think that's true because instead of lasting like 2 minutes of just awful, it's more like 30 seconds or so. So I did that where you basically what you do is you breathe in, you hyperventilate basically for like 30 times, then you hold your breath for like a minute and a half, and then yeah, that's basically it. I don't know. Look it up if you're interested. But yeah, so then I jumped in. I tried to stay zen, and I just kind of pushed through. So, like I said, the first 30 seconds weren't too bad. It was basically what I'd experienced before. And then I hung in there. I was noticing because of the Wim Hof method, you kind of sometimes your toes and fingers start to feel kind of tingly when you're just doing the breathing exercises. And when I jumped in the water, my hands felt weird. They're like super tingly. It's kind of like pins and needles, like but more like hammers and knives.
Jeez.
So, but like it was weird, but it went away after a little bit. And then I was just really cold for 13 minutes and about 5 seconds. So that's I hung in there as past what I thought maybe Travis would want to do, but I think I could have done longer, as we will find out. And
I felt the
that's
same
what I
way.
did.
Like I just got out because like I was in a lot of pain. I was like I could stay in longer, but it was just a matter of how much pain am I willing to be in.
Yeah.
I feel like I knew I was beat anyways. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted this one, but but what I was gonna say is another kind of fun fact. So like with everybody there, when you're kind of toweling off afterwards, you know how like when you're drying off, you feel kind of like cold spots, and you know that's where you go to get the water off of you because it's the no, it turns out that's just what your skin and blood feel like after you've been in the water that long.
I
So
think I
like
remember
we're
you
going up.
saying that like you can feel your blood moving through your body.
Yeah, yes. And like I can feel the blood warming up from the inside out. It's super weird. And like and then I was like I had like Charles, our friend who was there. He's like, "Here, touch my arm." And he's like, "Oh, you feel like a dead person." Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. That's what I did. 13 minutes and 5 seconds.
All right, so I'll go. I'll go here. As far as my approach, my preparation method was just kind of like I said. I did a couple uh, ice baths in just our bathtub. Those were okay. I found that I didn't have enough ice. You need a lot of ice to actually get the ice to stay.
Yeah.
And both those times I just put like 2 bags in, and then I would like get in the tub and I would sit there for a little bit, and it would just like warm up to the point that it was no longer uncomfortable. So beyond that, I just did the cold showers. Sometimes I do them twice a day, whether if I like went to the gym or not. Basically every shower I took, I was doing a cold couple minutes at the end of it. And then in my experience, I don't know, the Wim Hof breathing approach always seemed to like make it harder for me to do the cold exposure. I don't know why. I don't know if like the hyperventilating, I don't know. It just didn't seem to work for me, and it was like actually a detriment. So I didn't do that. I didn't really do much preparation before getting in the tank. My strategy though was Andrew Huberman talks about how your hands, feet, and like the front of your face, I guess your face, these are the places where your body kind of like senses how warm or cold it is. So if you can keep your hands or feet or face warmish, then you'll be able to tolerate the cold better. So what I did when I got in the tank was I kept my hands pressed against my legs, and I put my feet kind of on top of each other so that I was trying to retain as much heat in my hands and feet as I could, and my face was not in the water, so that was fine. So that was kind of my strategy here. And Mike, I think I remember you saying that you kept like kind of moving your hands and you had your fingers spread and you were kind of flexing your hands. I
Yeah.
think that worked against you quite a bit.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just in the tub and I, had the initial, this is uncomfortable. I don't like this. Um, and then I was just kind of fine. They described this experience as like passing through a series of gates or whatever. So the initial gate is just the intense shock or whatever, and if you can outlast that, you get into a kind of, I don't know. I think like you said, it was kind of zen. It's just kind of like, for me at least, once you get past that first shock, it's just kind of like regular water. Your hands and feet start to go a little bit, tingly or cold or numb, I guess, eventually. But for me, it was not that bad. Yeah, I had, I think, 2 or 3 gates, they would say, while I was in. But even then, when I got out, I felt like I could have kept going, probably. Which I got out right around the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
you monster. But Travis the polar bear.
Travis is the penguin. Travis is the penguin.
Yeah, maybe it was the hands and feet staying warm thing, but I honestly, or maybe I'm just like genetically predisposed to it, but I had a great time. This wasn't that hard for me.
And I would like to point out, just for people who weren't there, like the situation we were in is there's three of us were outside of the tub just watching the other person sit in this tub. We're just sitting on lawn chairs in his garage, just
Yeah.
watching Travis for a half hour in a bathtub. I think at one point
Yeah.
we put beer cans in there
We
to
did
cool
do
him
that.
off. And we're just sitting there talking to Travis as he was in a bathtub.
Yeah, and at
For
the
30
30, we
minutes.
took some pictures at the 30-minute mark. I grabbed one of those beers and opened it and started drinking it in the
Yeah.
bath. So yeah,
Uh,
I went the full 30, and I think I could probably do that relatively frequently without too much trouble. I have like the beginnings of a cold today, so I don't know if that's related or not, if I like overtaxed my immune system or what, but yeah, I had a great time. Like I said, Mike, I owe you an apology. You have shown me the way on this cold exposure, and
I
I'll
mean,
never go back.
well, I'm glad I could help you like that, Travis. I am a little frustrated because I wanted this one. I was trying hard for it, and I think I probably could have done the same, but I went before you, so you knew what you needed to beat. So I think it's a little.
we could do it
Oh,
I
again.
well.
I wanted you to win too. It wouldn't be fair for me to just let you win.
Yeah, you can't
No,
let him win.
I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't be happy if you did. So it's fine. But
Well, we
yeah,
should also
yeah.
mention Charles, the friend that we had brought to help us kind of do the timing and everything. We
We
convinced him
can
to get
we
in there.
peer pressured him
Peer
into doing
pressured
it.
Yeah,
him. Yeah, he didn't even have a swimsuit, so like you had to lend him one or something. But
And
yeah.
he stayed in for, what was it, 20
20
minutes? It was
minutes. He
20
had
minutes,
no
first time.
preparation at all, and he's just
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's the real polar bear, I guess.
yeah,
The
I
water
guess.
was in the 50s at that point, but it's still very
It's
cold.
I
still
mean,
pretty cold.
that's still really cold. Like, if you put your hand in, you're like, this is not a pleasant place to be. For instance,
Yeah.
if it was like a cooler and you're trying to get something on the bottom of it, it was like that
Yeah.
kind of temperature.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
kudos to him. So,
Yeah.
well,
Thanks, Charles.
congratulations, Travis. You did it, man.
You did it.
This
Thank
was
you.
yeah, I did like this one, and I want to keep doing it. There's a problem that to keep doing the ice baths, it's a little like expensive if you gotta keep buying ice, and your fridge probably doesn't produce enough to do it. So you have to figure out a better way to do it if you want to keep doing the baths themselves.
Yeah.
Unless you wait, if you live in Minnesota, you just wait till the lakes freeze over and just go for a little splishy splash every once in a while.
Or
That would
just
also
Yeah,
grab a whole
work.
6
bunch
months
of
out of the
snow.
year, it's great.
Yeah.
Just go
So
shovel your driveway, but put it all in a tub.
yeah, well, that would work.
Yeah.
So
Or just jump in a snowbank.
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, that's my closing thoughts is I think this is awesome, and I think everybody should try it. And I've been throughout these past 2 weeks, I've been convincing people to do it. Charles and another friend and some other people are like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll try it sometime. So I think it's great. I think everyone should do it. I think
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I definitely liked this way more than I thought. I thought I was going to absolutely hate every second, but I did really enjoy a lot of this one.
Yeah, I think it's really that it's good to put your body through this like survival state. I think it's just healthy. That's what like we're meant to do as human, monkeys. So, like, as monkey people,
Yeah.
Well, that is
it's like,
that is the point of it, is that by doing this voluntarily and on your own terms, you are like preparing and training your body to react to stressful stimulus better. Like you're training yourself to be able to respond easier and with less stress when facing, adrenaline inducing situations. So like that's like genuinely what you're training your body to do by like putting yourself through this. You're like going through a repeated cycle of adrenaline and stress response so that you can train yourself to be more calm when it happens.
yeah. And there's that whole the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you thing. Like basically it means that if you haven't had stuff that's really that bad happen to you, then all the stuff that really isn't that bad really affects you because it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So putting yourself in this kind of situation where it's just shock and horror for 2 minutes, is like it's like kind of puts everything in perspective. And I think that could be good, especially these days, because anxiety is like another pandemic that's been going on. So especially with
Yeah.
like young people. So I think it would be good. Just everybody go freeze yourself for a little bit. Be good
Yeah.
for you.
Just become an icicle.
Yeah.
Now presenting the Human Popsicle, Travis Braband.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everyone or anyone listening. If you are listening and you have found this entertaining, please tell one person about the show so that they can also be maybe convinced to try to dunk themselves in ice. As far as this challenge, I stand by it. I think this is a great thing to do. If you are healthy enough to try it, give it a shot and, let us know what you think about it. Overall, though, I'm going to keep doing this forever, and I hope you guys do too. Thanks.
You did great. Next time on Perpetual Incompetence. Explore what it means to be a real Minnesotan, don't you know? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.